Hi everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Dan Pardo and this is Pardo's Turn, my weekly Wednesday web series where I analyze a classic show tune from a music director's point of view and with the help of a special guest, perhaps shed some light on what makes the gems of our musical theater canon so great. Today I was all set to release an episode with the great Eric Ulloa when my wife Chrissy reminded me that the subject matter was a little dark and it's Christmas, so instead, the two of us are going to take a look at the beloved Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, written by Hugh Martin and Ralph Blane from the movie musical Meet Me in St. Louis. When I was growing up, my parents and I had a shared dialogue that they forced on me when listening to music. It was a three-part fill-in-the-blank. This is, I'd say the title, written by the songwriter, and he was Jewish. When driving down to Florida to visit my grandparents over Christmas break, it seemed, ironically, that this game was put on overdrive. I could never understand why these Jewish songwriters were responsible for so many Christian holiday favorites. To me, who isn't connected to the religious origins of the holiday, Christmas is a time for family, for friends, for food, and above all, for hope. It's about the miracle that happened on 34th Street. It's about George Bailey, who realizes that despite his hardships, he does have a wonderful life. It's about raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. Wait, what? Why is that a holiday song? But it is about Ebenezer Scrooge and that mean one, Mr. Grinch, realizing that Christmas is a time of goodness and love. And then it came to me. That Hollywood notion of people struggling in times of need only to make it through by the spirit of the season is not only the Christmas story, it's the story of the Jewish people. No wonder they can write these tunes. Traditional Christmas carols are great, but they're written through the lens of the religious majority. They're joyous and celebratory, or sometimes solemn and earnest. But in either case, there's very little drama there. What's missing are those great jazz chords full of American melancholy that saturated the pages of Tin Pan Alley song pluggers and made their way into the 20th century Christmas songs that we all know and love. White Christmas, The Christmas Song, I'll Be Home for Christmas, Silver Bells, Do You Hear What I Hear? They were all written by Jews. Now, absent from that list is the very song that we're singing today. To my knowledge, Martin and Blane were not Jewish, but their song definitely is housed in that same pantheon of holiday favorites, and objectively, it's similar to them in many ways. So let's take a look at what they do, and why, like their shofar-blowing colleagues, they've unlocked the magic to a quintessential Christmas classic. The melody really stretches Judy Garland to begin, with a vocal arpeggio from a low A-flat up to an octave above before walking down the scale. In isolation, it seems like a normal major melody, but as the bass walks down to F, it's harmonized with a bittersweet minor 6 chord, followed by a minor 2, and then the tonic with a 4/3 suspension. The B section is dripping in nostalgia, talking about a return to olden days with friends and family gathered together. Very fittingly, the chords are warm and jazzy, lots of major sevenths, and above all, they're stable. None of them have a strong harmonic pull, so you're able to live in them comfortably without the urge or necessity to resolve. Like sitting next to a warm fire, you just want to linger there until the last ember has guttered. The final A section is roughly the same as the first harmonically, but the melody continues to build higher and higher, raising the stakes to a high D flat before rebounding and belting out a long C. Paired with a series of tense chords, it's really dramatic. Which makes you wonder, why is the lyric "hang a shining star upon the highest bough"? Okay, it's the highest bough, but why so serious? The short answer is they changed the lyrics! Originally it was "until then we'll have to muddle through somehow," which makes so much more sense. I don't know why they don't sing it like that all the time. In the last line, the final repetition of "have yourself" isn't the bittersweet minor 6 chord we hear in the first stanza, but rather that D-flat major 7 that we enjoyed in the B section, giving us comfort that we so desperately need each holiday season. Top to bottom, it's a brilliantly composed Christmas song, cherished by Jews and Christians alike.
Hi.
Thank you for reminding me of the holiday season.
Well, you know me, I'm just giving the people what they want.
Hey, let's get those clicks and likes. Before I forget, like, comment, subscribe, share, all those good things.
All the annoying things.
Thank you for all those who tune in every week. So it's Christmas, and I should remember that because I've been conducting a Connecticut Christmas Carol.
Well, I feel like you've kind of been in like the Christmas vortex for the last month and a half, so you kind of don't know when Christmas actually is.
That's true. It's like when you're in rehearsals and you don't really know when the weekends are. You know, we could have picked any number of Christmas songs. They're all great. They all kind of are similar in aesthetic and construction. I mean, I would say what are your top 5 Christmas songs?
Top 5 Christmas songs. Oh, that's so hard.
On the count of 3, let's say the top one.
1, 2, 3. The Christmas song. Yes.
Okay,
and the Nat King Cole recording is probably the quintessential.
Of course.
Let's see. I mean, I have kind of different Christmas songs for different moods. I guess Man with the Bag is probably one of my favorite ones. You've probably seen my YouTube video of that. Dan actually posted it on Facebook the other day.
Which reminds me, you should go check out our 2016 Vlogmas series where we actually recorded a lot of these songs.
Yeah, we did one for every day from December 1st leading up to the 25th. And we actually did it pretty consistently, and I was even on vacation in Hawaii, and I still did a bunch of them there, which was fun.
Humble brag. As it relates to musical theater, I think we see Christmas come up a lot. I mean, some of the more obvious ones are the adaptations that were from Christmas movies, like
Christmas Story, Elf.
But also, Mame, Hard Candy Christmas featured in Whorehouse, Rent.
Rent is a big one. You have some of the movie musicals, we're gonna do a song for Meet Me in St. Louis, where they do Christmas. White Christmas, of course. So yeah, Christmas is a theme that comes up a lot in musical theater.
What about it do you think is so evocative or lends itself to this type of storytelling?
Christmas, in a lot of media in general, whether it's literature, theater, musical theater, film, Christmas always represents this break from whatever terribleness is happening at the time. If you look at Rent, for example, these guys that can't pay their bills, they're lighting, trash can fires in the middle of their apartment, but they still get to celebrate Christmas, so they still get a break.
It's the you can't take that away from me type of a...
Yeah, and even in the source material, La Boheme, it's the same exact thing. It's the same series of events. They're trying to find some matches to light a fire. But it happens to be Christmas and everything's okay and they find love. But in Mame you have the same thing. Things are kind of crappy and they're
we need a little Christmas,
right?
We need
this
a little
very
Christmas,
minute. To make ourselves feel better. Meet Me in St. Louis is the same thing. The girls don't want to move from St. Louis to New York for their dad's job. But Christmas is a nice break from thinking about that. So I think, it's this nice moment of relief. And you hear those stories about World War I, and it was Christmas Day, and the German soldiers and the American soldiers had dinner, or some urban legend, or maybe that happened, I don't know.
I think it also is a place of reckoning for a lot of people. Maybe it's just because I'm doing Christmas Carol now. Something awakens, or they're tested on Christmas, and it's of all the days, it's Christmas, it's all right, maybe it is time to make myself a better person or to reevaluate my life.
Yeah, but I think musical theater lends itself well to Christmas just because musical theater, has a history of being slightly campy, as does Christmas. So yeah, the two go together quite well, in my opinion.
Any thoughts about Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas specifically?
Yes. So I will be singing the original Judy Garland lyrics that were used in the 1944 film Meet Me in St. Louis. And I'm doing that just because I feel like the music was written to complement these lyrics, which, if you really listen to them, they aren't the happiest things in the world. This is not your typical Christmas song. As Dan says in his analysis, it has a whole American melancholy thing going on. And it's definitely true in this song. And I did some research today as to why they were changed.
Okay.
In 1957, the year my dad was born, Frank Sinatra was actually recording an album called A Jolly Christmas.
Okay.
And he really wanted to use this song, and he went up to the songwriter, whatever his name is. Hugh Martin. And he goes, "Look, my album is called A Jolly Christmas. can you please jolly up these lyrics for me? Like I
Leave
called,
it to his Frank. He was notorious for doing that.
Yeah, so they rewrote a whole bunch of lyrics, and the most jarring one for me is definitely the "Hang this shining star" one, because like that always has struck me as weird, even when I was little and I was listening to this song. I'm like, this is such like a heart-wrenching moment, you know, and hang up the star, hang it up, you know. So when I found out that there were other lyrics, because the radio these days is actually playing both versions, both the Judy version and the Frank version. So when I first heard the Judy version, I was like, oh, this makes so much more sense.
You said there were other lyrics that were changed too?
Yes. Yes. Well, it's important to note that when Hugh Martin first wrote the song, the lyrics were actually super depressing. It was like, have yourself a merry little Christmas. It may be your last.
Oh,
yeah. And then Judy and Vincente Minnelli and a whole bunch of them were like, no, you can't do that. Too dark.
Yeah, no, apparently there's this whole controversy where Hugh Martin said that he wrote music and lyrics and that Ralph Blane didn't have any contribution and he gave him writing credit because he was young and naive, and I don't know. But apparently there's a whole controversy where
who actually wrote the song.
Yeah, like maybe they were, collaborators and they were bouncing ideas off each other, and so Ralph Blane and Hugh were like, we wrote the song together, and then later on he was like, actually, he didn't really help me that much, it was all me.
Yeah, but then I guess, another 40 years later, Hugh Martin actually said that the lyrics were changed from "if the Lord allows" to "if the fates allow," to take any references of religion. I'm not sure if that's necessarily true, but that's what he claims. But in 1944, there were plenty of references to religion in various films during that time. So I'm not sure why that would have been such a problem, but I'd have to do more research into that. Man, I'm really glad you didn't know what those lyrics were before I sang them. It was fun having your reaction on camera.
The beginning?
Yes.
Yeah, it may be your last.
That's kind of why I've always found this one a little fascinating. But also, it's a really beautiful song.
It's gorgeous.
And it's one of...
unquestionably.
It's one of the most popular songs of the season. So yeah, we are really excited to bring that to you today.
Yay! So, thanks so much for tuning in. Have a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We will see you next Wednesday on Pardo's Turn. Bye!